Hi, PerspectaWeather.com. Meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Wednesday, February 27th. Quite an active weather pattern as we run through the end of the month of February and into the new month of March, which begins on Friday. We'll have additional cold air outbreaks, and the first full week of March next week looks very cold compared to normal for much of the nation, including here in the mid-Atlantic region. We also have multiple snow threats to talk about over the next several days. Again, a lot of activity going on in the next 7 to 10 days or so. Just want to start off with a blank map of the U.S. to kind of give a big picture and overview of what can happen over the next several days. First of all, we have a clipper-like system today dropping southeast across the Great Lakes, across southern New York, and in this fashion right here. Snow showers may reach as far south as the northern suburbs of Philadelphia, let's say Bucks County, for example. Certainly a little bit more in the way of snow across upstate Pennsylvania into northern New Jersey and New York City, where there can be a small accumulation from late today into the overnight hours. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5 inches of snow across western and central New York, where the air mass is so cold you may have 15-to-1 liquid to snow ratios here, and again it could have 3 or 4 inches of snow. No snow expected from this first system south of the Mason-Dixon line. Then by late Thursday night, early Friday morning, we'll have another low pressure area working its way mainly in this fashion like this. Again, late Thursday night, early Friday morning, it certainly can result in some snow, some accumulating snow even, in D.C. and Philadelphia in time for the Friday morning commute, maybe a coating to 1 inch or 2 in some of those areas, and that could be mixed with sleet and or freezing rain. May extend all the way up into the New York City metro region later in the day on Friday, but that is system number 2. There certainly is some disagreement amongst computer forecast models right now in terms of how much available moisture will be associated with that area of low pressure, but I do believe there is a threat of accumulating snow in D.C. and Philadelphia late Thursday night, Friday morning. Then on Saturday we'll have one low pressure area moving up into the Ohio Valley, and then another one trying to form along the Mid-Atlantic coastline. End result, maybe some more rain on Saturday, possibly mixed with snow in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region later Friday night, and then again late Saturday night into Sunday morning. And let's kind of clear the map here, and then by the time Sunday rolls around, we'll have a cold frontal system dropping southeast in this fashion, and then it'll tend to stall out down in this area right here by late Sunday night going into Monday morning. Lots of moisture will ride up along that frontal boundary zone, and the result may be low pressure near the East Coast that it could bring snow or a wintry mix to the I-95 corridor region late Sunday night going into Monday morning. Again, a low pressure area could move in that fashion here. So very active weather pattern over the next several days, and let's get into some of the more details over the next few minutes here. Well, while we have multiple snow threats over the next several days in the Mid-Atlantic region that are still certainly not set in stone right now, what is quite clear is that the first full week of March will be quite cold compared to normal in much of the nation. This is the ensemble run of the GFS from last night at 0Z. 5-day increments here of 850 millibar temperature anomalies. This is the current 5-day period we're in, and rather chilly this morning here compared to normal in the Mid-Atlantic region, and it stays relatively cold over the next couple of days, giving us chance of snow later on tonight in the northern Mid-Atlantic, and then in the I-95 corridor region, at least from D.C. to Philadelphia, late Thursday night, Friday morning, with that second system that we just talked about. Look at this below normal weather over the current 5-day period at places like Montana. I saw a stat this morning that was quite amazing. Great Falls, Montana has averaged 27 degrees below normal for the month of February, which is about to end. Quite amazing cold, and the first week of March will be amazingly cold in that part of the country as well. In fact, let's now jump ahead to the 6 to 10 day outlook. This again, the first full week of March, and here we go. This runs from March 4th all the way to March 9th. Basically next week, very cold air outbreak for much of the nation, way below normal temperatures extending from the northern Rockies all the way to the East Coast and all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. Again, this is the first full week of the month of March. This is using the ensemble run of the GFS, which tends to smooth things out as you go forward in time. So this is 6 to 10 day outlook for 850 millibar temperature anomalies. It could even be worse than this, as again the ensemble run tends to smooth things out. Then as we go to days 11 to 15, still quite a cold look to the overall pattern, especially in the center part of the nation, but colder than normal, extending to the eastern seaboard. This is roughly March 9th to March 14th, days 11 to 15. And again, this tends to smooth things out, so it could actually end up a little colder than normal. And these are averages for 5-day periods. So certainly, March is going to begin as a cold lion with very chilly air for this time of the year, especially during the first full week of the month next week. Well, let's now walk through the surface forecast maps from last night's GFS model run. This is the 0Z, the GFS model run. High pressure in control as we begin the day on Wednesday. Let's go to Wednesday morning right here. High pressure in control. Certainly cold enough for snow. And here is a clipper-like system dropping southeast across the Great Lakes. Again, it could produce 3 or 4 inches of snow in southwestern New York, for example, where the air mass is very cold. The liquid to snow ratios will be quite high, maybe 15 to 1, resulting in a significant snowfall for parts of the upstate New York, southwestern New York, south central New York, for example, even upstate Pennsylvania. Let's now move forward here. Again, that basically stays north of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, certainly north of the Mason-Dixon line. Can be some snow shower activity, perhaps as far south late today and tonight in places like Bucks County, upper Montgomery County in the Philly area. More likely across northern Pennsylvania and into upstate New Jersey and New York City, where again there can be some small accumulations here. That continues into the overnight hours, and then that moves on by, and here we are by Thursday afternoon. Still cold air mass in place here. High pressure takes control for Thursday afternoon. Thursday evening moves into the New England area. And here we go. Another low pressure area starts to form over the southeastern U.S. by tomorrow night. Some big disagreements here amongst the computer forecast models for how much moisture will be available to this low pressure area. The GFS has some snow breaking out, shown here in blue, by late Thursday night in the D.C. area, certainly in and around the D.C. area. Then it tends to move to the northeast and basically weakens by the time it reaches the eastern seaboard. I don't agree with this. I'll show you the NAM model run from last night in a moment. Again, I think the GFS is kind of underplaying the available moisture, and that snow will extend all the way up into the Philly metro region late Thursday night, early Friday. Not necessarily up to New York, but again, I think there can be a coating to an inch or two late Thursday night, early Friday morning from D.C. to Philadelphia, perhaps even an impact on the Friday morning commute. Can be some sleet and freezing rain mixed in as well. Then we have another area of low pressure to deal with as we move into the day on Saturday. Here's low pressure. Really, there'll be kind of a weak area going up to the Ohio Valley and a secondary trying to form along the mid-Atlantic coastline. Here's that secondary starting to form here late Saturday night time frame. Could be some more rain showers on Saturday, maybe some snow showers in parts of the mid-Atlantic region mixed in at time. And then you see here very cold air mass with the center of the coldest part of the air mass over south central Canada. Here we are by Sunday morning. Cold frontal system driving south and east from the Great Lakes into the Mid-Atlantic region, and lots of moisture sitting down here across the southeastern U.S. As we move forward here, the GFS tries to form a low. Excuse me. Tries to form a low along the southeastern coastline. Cold, fresh cold air in place here in the Mid-Atlantic region. This certainly can extend farther north than what the 0Z GFS is showing right now. Let's move forward again. Right now, that particular model run kept it kind of confined just to the south and east of the D.C., Philadelphia metro regions, but I do believe this could very well turn into kind of an important precipitation event late Sunday, Sunday night into early Monday. Not necessarily all snow, but it certainly can be snow or a wintry mix late Sunday, Sunday night, going into the morning hours on Monday, and then that moves on by, and we'll still have to keep our eye on the eastern seaboard. Very cold air mass at this particular time encompasses much of the U.S. Certainly the eastern two-thirds of the nation will be colder than normal for much of the week next week. Well, one final set of charts I wanted to show. I promised a look at the NAM model, which is definitely more interesting for the late Thursday night, Friday morning scenario. And again, I believe this has a little better handle on things, or will be more moisture than what the GFS just showed for the late Thursday night, Friday morning time period in the DC to Philadelphia corridor. This is middle of the night tomorrow night, and then look what the NAM model does. It really has an area of sleet and freezing rain into the DC metro region, then decent snow just to the north and west of DC, extending all the way up into Philadelphia and even New York by early Friday morning. This is more believable, in my opinion, compared to the GFS model run, and what it ends up saying is that there could be an impact on the Friday morning commute, maybe some small accumulations of a coating to an inch or two in DC, Philadelphia by Friday morning, maybe even all the way up into New York City. So a lot going on here. We have a Clipper-like system later today and tonight that'll produce some snow across upstate Pennsylvania, upstate New Jersey, New York City, certainly southern New York, maybe even snow showers all the way south to the northern suburbs of Philadelphia like Bucks County. Then another system comes late Thursday night, Friday morning, could produce some accumulating snow mixed with a wintry mix of sleet and freezing rain late Thursday night, Friday morning from D.C. to Philadelphia, perhaps as far north as New York City. And then we'll have to watch as colder air moves in later in the week, and a lot of moisture down in the southeast U.S. could come up to the north and impact the I-95 corridor with snow or a wintry mix late Sunday, Sunday night going into early Monday next week. Way below normal for this time of the year. That's it for now for PerspectaWeather.com. A meteorologist, Paul Orion.